SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold, and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Good morning everybody. I've put the webcam on. People seem to want the webcam, so if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. I don't really see why you would want that, but you've got it. So hopefully that's good for you. Right, so let's get started. We had a little bit of a pullback yesterday. No big deal. No big deal at all. We were talking about increments on the way down. The first one being your 10 exponential, which is basically we were trying to bounce from today. At this very moment in time, sitting roughly around the $23,900 zone. It would be bullish, really bullish, if we bounced and reversed from there, because this would be a buy the dip continuation of an uptrend, first opportunity of a significant moving average on a daily to get picked up on. Is it going to happen though? Is it going to happen? Shall we just move away from this chart for a very brief moment in time? Have a little look at the bigger picture. Remember, I always talk about the domino effect. We start with Forex, move to indices, to stocks. Sometimes we can look at commodities. We've got gold up as well. But really, there's 4 levels in this domino effect that we think about. Obviously, Forex, stocks, Bitcoin, altcoins. So before trading any altcoin, if you really want it to be super safe and risk averse, then you would check the entire domino situation. And we've been thinking about this domino effect for a little while now. So on the way up, we're saying, no, it's going to run out of steam, it's going to come back and most likely have a bullish retest of the golden cross. And the 200 exponential being the better place for it to bounce from. And if we bounce from there on the euro, that would be an excellent place for it to bounce, because the euro being the first domino, finding a bounce around there would give a decent setup as opposed for everything to bounce from around there. And where there is reasonable symmetry, or has been reasonable symmetry across all boards, moving down to reasonable areas and significant areas of support for everybody. The only problem I see now where the symmetry is somewhat broken a little bit is the S&P. So the S&P has actually come down 2% today, which is a very big drop. In fact, has that outperformed Bitcoin's? No, Bitcoin caught up with the red there. So let's have a think about what's going on here. So if we sort of measure these out, and again, this isn't going to be that helpful, but if we just do it just for effect. So we've got another 1% to go for the euro before we hope and try to play a bounce. Now, if we have a look at the momentum on this one, no bullish divergence on the daily. That's fine. Doesn't necessarily have to. On the 4 hourly, none on the 4 hourly either. So that's okay, I suppose, for what it's worth. On the hourly, we're not really too bothered about the hourly. And the hourly just still wants to come down. So all time frames still suggest further downside for the euro, which is what we actually predicted, right? That's what we expected. The Dixie, the inverse chart of the euro, doing the same odd thing, looking for another retest of that 200 exponential, being a death cross retest. Anyway, I'm boring you to death because I talk about this all the time, but at least you've got my webcam now to look at. So there you go. So this is the thing where the symmetry may have broken. So this is a decent chart. We had a symmetrical triangle and a breakdown from that. It was on a Tuesday. Tuesday is often the inverse of a general trend, which has been up for quite a while. Remember who told you that we were likely to have bottomed around here? It was me. Now the proof is going to be, do we continue to go down? Do we form a lower low on this current run, which would be that, you know, we have to really try and maintain highs above 38,000. Back down here, the idea of going to 38,000 was pure hopium. Now, you know, we're just above we're just below 4,000. So people are highly emotional in this market, and I have to say, like, the market right now hasn't got the greatest degree of confidence in it. I understand that. There's plenty of money to go into all these markets if, of course, they want to. There's plenty of money there, but we are technically right this very moment in time in a subtle limbo, right? Where we do favour further downside. We want further downside on at least the euro and Bitcoin. Do we want it on the S&P? Because that 2% was a lot. Now we can sustain further downside. We can do another 2% to come down to this low around here, 39. That would be an alright place for it to bounce. We can also bounce from any one of these moving averages. There's your golden cross retest, looking like it wants to form a death cross if we hang around down here for too long. But we also have golden crosses on simple moving averages, which for traditional markets often are more useful because they're slower markets. Not like crypto, where they massive up, massive downs, and exponential moving averages count for a lot more than simples. The simple moving average golden cross took place around here. There's your golden cross on exponentials. So maybe we could be looking for a retest of these. Now the problem I got with that is because this is such lagging moving average, being simple moving averages, they take a long time to make any kind of curvature. This is not horizontal yet, so this 200 simple moving average is actually still facing down. It's more or less parallel with the bear market trend of this giant descending triangle. So what I'm trying to say is further downside is most likely going to be the case, and even though we haven't got perfect symmetry, because I would have liked to have seen 4,000, like to hold 4,000 at the same time that the 105.3 golden cross radio gets tagged, and at the same time that maybe Bitcoin came down to retest its golden cross as well, around 21,800 at this current moment in time. All of that happening at the same time would have been amazing. That would have caused perfect symmetry across all the charts, and a buy the dip basically on all markets would have been a really good educated guess as to where we're going to sort of maybe even reverse back up to new local highs from. But it's kind of subtly broken a little bit, but it's only really the S&P that's brought us out of that. But again, you know, Bitcoin hanging around in this intermediate zone. We'll see how bullish Bitcoin really is. If it gets picked up around here, then so be it. So let's get back to Bitcoin and focus on Bitcoin. Right, so if we want to remain bullish in the short term, we do have to hold and close above this area, more or less where we've been tagging around. We're talking 23,900. Closures above that area, back up to 24,000. Has a decent opportunity to rally back into the 24,400, where this Bollinger Band currently sits, and will be for the majority of the day on a 4-hourly. So 4-hourly. So there's no bullish divergence. There's not going to be any bullish divergence on this 4-hour. It's too early to get anything like that. Let's have a look on the daily. Not really. I mean, a little bit, but not really worth talking about, to be honest with you. And you can see the relevance of this current price action right now is that we are at an area where we can just come straight back down to the lower zone. And because the American markets haven't yet opened, and if they do, and S&P continues to go down, maybe by another 2% or so, that'll bring Bitcoin down easily to the 23,300 zone. So I like to say I bought the 21,500, and I'm happy to hold on to that. And I will probably buy it again if we come down to that level again. I'll probably buy that again with even more of my cash. Because again, I put a sizable amount down, 20% of my available Tether, fiat, whatever, my available funds to go back into it. It's a lot for me to put that much down in one go, and I did. And I'm feeling quite confident about the way that the chart and the markets all basically, and the way I see it on a longer period. So I'm quite comfortable by doing that. But it doesn't mean that it'll hold. I just feel as though it's a reasonable place to go in for it. Now, if we were to lose that, which is too early to even talk about that sort of thing, if we were to lose that, then yeah, I think we come back down into the teens, really, back down into the 18,000, mid 18,000s. But it's too early to talk about that right now. Now, if we just go to a higher term time frame, just to shed a bit of hopium onto this, and I'm going to make a video on ICP because I sort of did the live stream last night for Patreon members, and I missed I did do it, but I didn't do it with this tether pair, and there are some good things to talk about with ICP, but I'll do that on a later video. But if we just think about what we're seeing here on the weekly, it definitely has plenty of room to run here. This I've said on previous videos, this beginning of the bull market for Bitcoin right now feels very similar to how this one was, and I'm looking for diminishing returns on Bitcoin anyway. The higher the market cap, the less the significant rallies in one go. So we did a massive run from this to this, so about 3,300 to 14,000 in a relatively short space of time. I'm seeing where we are right now, roughly around this kind of area, which is leading into my thoughts of, you know, moving up to 28 to 32 to maybe even 38 if Captain Noobmaster empties his pockets in full. That's what I would expect, which is why I've highlighted these areas on the chart really. These would be the next major areas. Also, the 200 simple moving average on the weekly has been tagged twice in a row and rejected from as well. So if you're looking to attract big time players, loads and loads of big investments for a longer period of time, confidence will resume on any chart while you're above that 200 weekly moving average. At the moment, this is 2 rejections in a row, so not quite ready yet. But Captain Noobmaster and the institutional Noobmasters will start to get back involved around those levels. So basically, it is slightly concerning that this is where we're struggling from, and like I say, the weekly is giving us clues as to why this area has become such a problem. But if we reclaim this area, especially close above this area on a weekly, then I would imagine shoot straight back up. Really significant rally for Bitcoin, because we can do that. MACD crossing up ever so slightly but surely towards the 0 point. This now looks very much like an accumulation, like many altcoins have got this sort of vibe taking place. There's no bearish divergence on the way up. The money flow index is high, but it's way not overextended, so we can definitely go higher than that. And the thing that we've been talking about yesterday, which is the signal of all signals, the Ichimoku cloud conversion baseline crossing above the cloud, giving us a trend signal, has happened. So we've got that now. So I'm not massively concerned. If anything, this is a signal that we look for and wait for and want. It's not the greatest, because I like to see these take place over a longer period of sideways, but we didn't. We got a pump signal generated back down here. The pump signal was at 18,500, so it pumped. Then we got a negative cross. Now we've got a positive cross above the cloud with a golden cross. These are the signals that we wait for. These are the signals that we want. And although it's not perfect and we're trending with traditional markets, this is it, really. This is what it's all about. Now, when you're looking to trade this signal itself, there are reasons to not want to do it. And that would be if we get cancelled out by the Chiku span here, touching price action, closing in price action. So maybe it's worth holding out for a little longer just to see what happens with traditional markets, because this signal is a good signal. It can say, all right, let's go, let's buy, let's do it, let's trade it, let's expect the trend. But we're correlated, aren't we, with the bigger players, part of the domino effect. So one golden cross and one Ichi cloud setup isn't enough to counteract downside in way bigger markets like Forex and indices. So even though it's a great setup, and one that I really desperately would love to play, I have to go back, through the chain of events. What's brought us here? Is this an acceptable place? Can I take this signal seriously? And at the moment, as much as I've been waiting for the signal, I do have to wait for American markets to open up just to see what's going on with the old S&P. Are we going to ricochet and bounce back up from here? Is this effectively a fake breakdown, a fake out, basically, since we broke down from this symmetrical triangle, quite close to the end of the apex, which often would refer to like a fake move. But we are below most moving averages of significance, and for me, that is also a little bit of a problem. I'm kind of optimistic about the whole thing, but I have to say, long story short, I'd rather wait and see what happens towards the end of the day, and maybe even a couple more days from that, before I take the plunge and buy any further dips. I would only really buy a dip deeper than the dip that I bought, or 21,500, or buy that once again. There is a very good chance that coming down by that, what's it going to be, another 10% or so from where we're at right now, just short of 10%, but 9%. There is a decent, plausible thought that I've got that this could form like a double bottom on this trend here, and this is where we do the big bounce. Like I said a few videos ago, what I'll be looking for is a little up, which we've got, a bigger down, which is what we're getting, and then a big move back up. So as far as that analysis from 2 or 3 days ago, it's working exactly as expected. Right, so I'm going to leave with you there. Have a think about something to encourage you guys to help my algorithm. What is it that you drink in the mornings? I'm drinking a cup of Earl Grey tea. That's what I like, and I have it with milk. So fair play. I know some of you will go, you could have it with lemon, but that's not the case. I read a thing by Douglas Adams, who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and you can't get more British than that. He described the perfect cup of tea as Earl Grey with milk. So if he does, it's good enough for him. It's good enough for me. So that's how I start my mornings. How do you start yours? Leave a comment in the description below. Pump my algorithm, and like and subscribe if you're not already. And I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.